Thomas the tank engine and Percy the small engine both worked on the branch line on the island of Sodor. Thomas would pull his two faithful coaches, Annie and Clarabelle, while Percy would take over for him or do his usual job of pulling the mail train. Percy enjoyed working on the branch line. He got along well with the coaches, and the passengers were pleased. Thomas also got high praise too, but I'm sorry to say this went to his smoke box. One day, Percy arrived at the junction. Thomas was already there picking up passengers. You know, Percy, I never realized how important mainline work is. Branch lines are all very well and good, but not as important as mainline trains. Percy was confused. I thought all of our work was important. After all, Sir Topham Hatt sent me to work on your branch line because you were working on the main line. He wouldn't have sent me if it wasn't important. He only sent you because he wanted you out of the way. I was chosen to work here because he knows I'm a really useful engine. You aren't important enough to pull a train like this. Percy's boiler pressure suddenly shot up. I'm just as important as you are, he said crossly. Just then, the conductor blew the whistle. Oh, sorry, Percy. Looks like I have to go. Must be late with my important train. And Thomas set off, leaving Percy quite annoyed. Hello, Percy. You look upset. What's the matter? It's Thomas. He's always going on about how important his work is. He doesn't think I'm important enough to pull mainline trains. Edward sighed. Thomas is just getting a lot of praise for his work. He can be boastful at times, but he is a good engine. Don't worry, Percy. I'm sure you can prove him wrong. That made Percy feel a little better, but he wasn't sure how. The next day, Percy hurried along the line. If I get to the station before Thomas, then he'll see how useful I am, he thought. But then there was trouble. Percy didn't see there was a pile of logs stuck on the line. By the time he did, it was too late. Percy got caught by one of the logs, and although he hadn't come off the track, his front was suspended in the air. He wasn't going anywhere. Thomas pulled up alongside him. Oh dear, Percy, it looks like you can't be reliable after all. You're late, and now the passengers are cross. Don't worry, I'll make sure they get to their stations on time. And Thomas raced off, leaving Percy more annoyed than ever. Later, Thomas was reaching the last station and was preparing to set off with the return train. He was still feeling quite proud of himself. I'll show that Percy how useful I can be. But he was so busy thinking to himself that he didn't notice how fast he was going. Thomas came into the station too quickly and gave the coaches a loud bump. Whoa, easy there, Thomas. These coaches are old. We must be careful not to bump them. But Thomas took no notice. Soon the people got in, the conductor blew the whistle, and Thomas set off, before the coaches could be checked over. As the train rolled through the countryside, Thomas's driver began to hear a strange noise. Careful, Thomas, I think something's wrong. But Thomas wasn't listening. He was too busy trying to top his own time. Then, they came to the viaduct with a steep ascent. Thomas tried to go faster, but the coaches felt like they were getting heavier. I mustn't be late, he thought. I have to be on time. So Thomas puffed as hard as he could. His wheels began to slip. Steady, Thomas, called the driver, but it was no good. Thomas strained and strained. Suddenly, his wheels slipped fiercely, and then... Oh! He cried as he came to a grinding halt back down the slope. Thomas had bumped into the coaches so hard that he had loosened the brake pipes, causing their brakes to come on, and because his wheels had slipped so suddenly, he had broken one of his coupling rods. He wasn't going anywhere. Thomas's crew tended to the damage, while the conductor telephoned ahead to the junction. Percy was shunting some freight cars when the station master came up. Leave those cars, Percy. Thomas has broken down at the viaduct, and I need you to go rescue him. Percy just rolled his eyes. That Thomas told me I wasn't useful enough. Let him stay there and think about what he's done. But what about the passengers, said the station master. They don't deserve to be stranded out there. Percy felt sorry at once and decided to go help. Soon he arrived. Thomas's crew were able to mend the brake pipes, but nothing could be done for his coupling rod. Percy was coupled in front, and slowly but surely, he got the train moving again. They coasted smoothly down the hill and arrived at the next station only a few minutes late. The passengers thanked Percy and hurried away. Sir Topham Hatt was standing on the platform. Well done, Percy. A fine piece of work. Can you please look after Thomas's mainline trains until he is repaired? Percy was pleased. Yes, sir. But what about the branch line passengers? I shall arrange a bus service for them. Then he turned to Thomas. We must get you to the works straight away, he said. Thomas felt very silly. Percy shunted Thomas into a siding, and Edward arrived to take him to the works. And after a few days, Thomas returned. He went to see Percy in the yard. Hello, Thomas. Good to see you on the rails again. Thomas sighed. Percy, I'm really sorry I teased you. I shouldn't have been so rude. You did splendidly pulling my train. Can we please be friends? Percy smiled. Of course. We engines must pull together no matter what the weather. And together the two friends went back to work.